God dang it. This one's definitely true. So we need to learn that from the German people. Please teach us, give us a lesson. Okay, we gotta get back to the negative ones because there's so many more. Obsession with guns. America on the globe, and then just ocean everywhere else. Just nothing else, just the USA. Oh, what'd you think in the thumbnail? That I was giving you the middle finger? No, clickbait. Clickbait, baby. Thumbs up. Good choice to click on another NALF video. Anyway, NALF here, back again, propagating stereotypes for the third time in like a week. Just doing good for the world and everyone's perception of people around the world. You're welcome, YouTube. No, last week I saw this article on Wikipedia about German stereotypes, and I talked about that a little bit and my thoughts on that. And then I went down the old Wikipedia rabbit hole, clicking on things. And then I landed on the page of American stereotypes, and that's what today's video is about. Me talking about American stereotypes after living in Germany for over 2 years. Here we go. There's 3 positive stereotypes and 9 negative stereotypes. 3 times as many negative stereotypes as positive stereotypes. Guys, are we that bad? I'm gonna try to debunk some of these or confirm some of them. Guns. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Let me drink this real quick. Whew. Sorry guys, it's early in the morning, I need caffeine. Obsession with guns. Yeah, this is definitely a true stereotype, at least for like a good amount of people in America. I think that this subject is one that people from other countries struggle to understand the mentality for Americans when it comes to their guns. And I'm not talking about like psychopath people who go get guns and shoot people and kill people. I'm talking about like good law-abiding citizens who own guns, go and shoot guns at target practice, or maybe go hunting or stuff like that. I'm talking about those people, not the freaking psychopaths, okay? Because there's some of those. I made a video this winter of my brothers and my dad and I going to the shooting range and shooting guns, and it's like my most disliked video ever. And I didn't even say anything controversial or anything in it. I just like showed us shooting guns at the range. And I asked people what they thought about it. And I got all these comments like, wow, I liked you so much more before I knew that you would shoot a gun. Now that to me is way too extreme and uninformed. And then there's also the way too extreme and uninformed on the other side. I think the issue with guns for Americans is it's super polarized, and everyone on each side of the aisle is so misinformed, and they will only believe the facts that support their side or their argument. And nobody will ever like look over at the other side and just try and see what they're thinking. This is something that I've gotten better at since coming to Germany is if I have an opinion on a subject, I always go and watch or listen to somebody on the other side give their opinion and their thought process on the subject. So I understand it better. I understand where other people are coming from. And I think that's what people in America really struggle to do. They have an idea or an opinion on something. They only watch or consume media that supports their opinion already, and they won't ever look at information or other people or ideas that could maybe open their mind a little bit. And that goes for both sides. Kind of went on a little rant there about the guns. That goes bigger than guns. That's on like all issues in America right now. Super polarizing. Materialism, overconsumption, extreme capitalism. This one I have to agree with. I mean, we have Black Friday. That's like the craziest thing ever. It's disgusting. And I am proud to admit I've never participated in Black Friday. Round of applause for NALF. So not materialistic and over-consuming or an extreme capitalismist. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this in Americans. I think we are pretty materialistic and over-consuming. Maybe it has something to do with like just the advertisement bombardment that you get from such a young age. Maybe that has to do with our overconsumption, materialistic attitudes. All right, let's do a positive one here. Okay, generosity. Americans are seen as generous. According to William Bennett, a positive stereotype of Americans is that they are very generous. The United States sends aid and supplies to many countries, and Americans may be seen as people who are charitable or volunteer. A 2010 Charities and Aid Foundation study found that Americans were 5th most willing to donate their time and money in the world at 55%. All right, that's pretty good. Top 5 in the world. And I, right now, am being generous to you. I'm donating my time and energy to give you this amazing video. You're welcome. Americans, we are generous. Okay, we got to get back to the negative ones because there's so many more. Lack of intelligence or cultural awareness. Americans may be stereotyped as ignorant of all countries and cultures beyond their own. This stereotype shows them as lacking intellectual curiosity, thus making them ignorant of other cultures, places, or lifestyles outside of their own. The idea of American students dumbing down is attributed to the declining standards of American schools and curricula. Curricula. I hate to say it, but I feel like it's pretty true. And like there's this meme map going around that I've seen a bunch of times, and it's like how America sees the world or something, and it's just America on the globe and then just ocean everywhere else, just nothing else, just the USA. The whole world is America, and I feel like that's kind of the way that we think. That's kind of the way that I felt and thought before leaving the country and living somewhere else. The thing about this is that the USA is such a big country with all different types of people, different types of area, different types of lifestyles, and there's so much going on that I think it's hard sometimes for Americans to kind of look outside of this huge country and realize that there's other countries with different cultures and people and lifestyles and stuff like that. So I think that maybe because America is so diverse that way, we feel like we're, aware of all these different types of people, even though they're just in our own country. And we lack the mental bandwidth to explore outside of our borders. Again, that's just some people. But then you've got some people that are just so ignorant and stupid. Here we go. Let's hit another positive stereotype. Optimism. Americans may be seen as very positive and optimistic people. Optimism is seen as the driving force behind achievement of the American dream. This one I have to agree with, and I actually love this one. This is one of my favorite things about the USA and the American people. I feel like I have the American optimism. I just feel very optimistic about life, and I feel like I can do anything or achieve anything if I work hard enough. And I think that the American mentality has something to do with that, along with like how I was raised in my family and stuff like that. But this is one of my favorite stereotypes, and I will 100% confirm it. Americans, we are optimistic, idealistic, and I feel good about the future. Oh boy. Environmental ignorance. God dang it. This one's definitely true. Americans may be seen as reckless and imprudent people regarding the preservation of the environment. They may be portrayed as lavish, driving high-polluting SUVs, and unconcerned about climate change or global warming. Dang, I drive an SUV at home. You don't see SUVs out here in Germany, like at all. Every time I see one, it's super rare and I'm shocked. You see them all over the place in the States. So yeah, I think American environmental ignorance is definitely a thing, but we're getting better at it. I think we're just a little bit behind. People are starting to understand, like, we don't need to just be wasteful to be wasteful. And I, since coming to Germany, have gotten better at this, learning how to sort my trash and recycle properly, and not taking a 2-go cup of coffee when I'm going to sit there in the cafe so I don't create unnecessary waste. So I am single-handedly saving the earth. You're welcome. We've got to save the earth, and we are doing it. Here's another stereotype that's not on the list. Americans are loud. And this one I have to agree with. I feel like I'm pretty loud sometimes. Like, I just like to scream a lot. Some of this has to do with just playing football. Like, I just like to scream and yell all the time. So it's not just from my American blood, but it probably has something to do with it. I don't know what it is. And sometimes when we're out to dinner, us American guys, we'll be talking and laughing and stuff, and I'll realize, oh, dang, we're being kind of loud right now. We're not trying to be rude or obnoxious. We just are happy and laughing. So yeah. The last two, one negative and one positive. Hardworking, positive. Overly hardworking, negative. So this is pretty interesting. I like this one because I do think that Americans are, for the most part, pretty hardworking, determined, optimistic people. Kind of just like, if you want to get something done, put your foot in the ground and grind through it and get it done no matter what. But on the other hand, that does sometimes lead into overworking. And this is something that I've talked about multiple times on some of these videos, is the German people are very hardworking and efficient and productive, but they also know how to rest and relax when it's time to take a break. You can't just work yourself into the ground, because long term you're just going to burn out and you're not going to be as productive, and then you're just not going to feel good or happy about your work because you'll just be so tired. So I think that finding the balance between being super hardworking and then knowing when to relax and give yourself a break, because and that will just regenerate you and refresh you. And then you can go back to being hardworking again. I think us Americans sometimes struggle with that, finding that balance in life. So we need to learn that from the German people. Please teach us, give us a lesson, how to have the nice work-life balance. Okay, so like stereotypes, there's always like some truth to them and there's always some exceptions to them. I always find it super interesting, especially after leaving the States and being able to look back at the States from an outside perspective, to see these stereotypes. Obviously, no country is perfect, America included, but I do think that sometimes America gets a bad reputation. Of course, we do some questionable stuff, and not everybody agrees with the politics and stuff like that. But I think America does do a lot of good for the world, but we are, sometimes an immature, youthful country that can be a little bit arrogant, and we're working on that. We're getting better, all right? So don't hate us. We're good. We're good people, okay? All right, guys, let me know what you think about these stereotypes, if you agree with them, if you disagree with them, if there's some other stereotypes of Americans that I didn't mention that I don't know about, let me know. I'd be interested to hear, all right? So that is all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.